Hello, all. Welcome to yet another episode of Candid Talks. As you know, this is a show that talks about the story between can and did. There are a lot of us who think we can do a lot of things. Only a few of us actually go and do those things, take those risks, do all that hard work, and be able to do things. Who I have today on the show as a guest, and when I was reading this person's story, a couple of things were impeccably amazing for me in the story. And somewhere it resonated so well with my own entrepreneurial journey. And if I have to sum it up in one sentence, it is the ability to have taken some very tough decisions multiple times through his life. Who we have today is the COO of Eton Solutions, Nimesh Soni. Nimesh, sir, thank you for your time today. I know you're briefly visiting India. Thank you for finding some time for us. Your story,
Yeah,
your
no.
incredible story, has also been reported in the upcoming book, Dhool, Dhoop,
Mhm.
and Dhakka. That's where I got to read about you, and I felt that was very, very
Okay.
inspiring. So, thank you, sir. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me. Yeah, thank
Uh,
you.
when I saw your story, it is
Mhm.
almost like a Bollywood
Oh, no, no,
melodramatic
no.
saga, right? From being
Nothing
an
like that.
engineer
Yeah.
to being a lecturer in a college
Hmm.
to writing
Hmm.
GRE without a scholarship,
Hmm.
breaking
Hmm.
parents' retirement money to go to the US,
Hmm. Yeah.
getting a scholarship, and then
Hmm.
facing perhaps, and the reason why I'm calling this melodramatic because only heroes in our films have so many problems
Hmm.
in life, not just
Yeah.
their own, but the market crashes. Every
So,
time you picked up something, the market had
yeah.
different, and you still fought through that. How do
Hmm.
you look at that story and connect to the title of the book you've been reported in, Dhool, Dhoop, and Dhakka? What is your connection to this book, sir?
Of course, when Deepak contacted me about, this book, I was like, and we worked together, so I knew
Right.
him. And so I said, yeah, I don't mind sharing my story if it helps people to see what I went through and how I handled it. And most importantly, I think the reason I was able to handle it so well, is one is I have a risk taking. Generally, I'm a little risk taking background. The other is I'm not too attached to money. I know you might say that's funny. If you're too attached to money, you won't risk it, right? And for me, I said, look, I want to try something. If it doesn't work, no problem. I'll go back to work and I can still save. So I think it was those two combination and always a desire to say, if there's an entrepreneurial opportunity, I don't mind trying. Otherwise, I was in consulting in the US, well paid. I didn't have to do anything and I would have retired rich. Uh, and so the fact is, you go to a cremation and you realize nobody's taking anything with them. So while I have my money, I want to try and see if I can do something with it. And one of the things was see if I can go in an entrepreneurial journey, you know. And that was it. It was just a risk taking and just saying, let me try something.
When you, like I said, even when I was reading your story, Nimesh, it was resonating with my own life so much. Even now, you just said
Yeah,
something that is so typical of a middle class background, somebody who comes from a middle class background. And you said,
agree.
look, I would have retired rich if I had continued in the job.
Yeah.
Were your family upset that you actually didn't do that and you were taking a huge risk in quitting jobs and going on your own?
Uh, I think to some extent I insulated them from what I was going through,
Right, right,
and it was only in that last few months when I was questioning what vegetables you're buying, buy the one on sale, they started wondering what's going on.
right.
So at that point, yeah, there was a bit of a stress that, what's happening. But, I never showed stress outside. So one of the
Right.
things I always do is, I have a certain demeanor I maintain. So, it was okay. And, a
Right.
few months later, things started to turn around. Yeah.
Right. So there's another thing that you said that really resonated very, very well with me. You said, and this is about money. You said, right? We don't take money back, and I'm not attached to money, is what you said. I
Yeah.
was about 5 years back. Up till 5 years back, I was. I wanted a BMW. I wanted the best of houses,
Okay.
the best of materialistic things.
Right.
It's only after I failed in my first venture, I started
Mhm.
realizing that you don't have to get attached to money. You just need to have a healthy respect for it, right? How much of a healthy
Exactly.
respect do you
That's
think
very good.
entrepreneurs should have about money? Is it really always about money when somebody wants to start up?
Uh, no, I mean, well, you always need some money, okay, to start your business. So one of the good things was when I was working, I saved well. I didn't have an extravagant lifestyle, so I saved well, and then I could take a risk. So if you have, I always said if you have 5 lakh, you will think of a 50 lakh venture. If you have 50 lakh, you'll think of a 5 crore venture, and then of
Right,
course you could raise some money.
right,
So, um, so that uh, you have to have respect for money because especially when you raise money, right?
right.
When you have other people's money, they're watching how you're using it, right? You have to use it like it's your own and it's the last money you have, right? And
Agree.
preserve it as long as you can and treat it with respect because it's not very often you're going to have somebody come over and say, I'll give you money, right? It's an important, whether it's a friend or a family member or an investor, if
Right.
somebody is willing to put money on your venture, you have to take it as a blessing in a way and as something that you want to make sure that they don't repent it and they come back to you
Right.
and
Right.
there's a next venture I want to come back with you, right? I think that's it. Just having your moral compass a center in your decision making.
Interesting.
I don't know if I answered your question, but
You did in a way,
yeah.
but very interesting how you look at your perspective on this is very interesting.
And
I'm
interestingly, where I am today, Teja,
Mhm,
at
mhm.
Eton Solution is because one of my previous investors saw what I did with his investment and he pulled me into the current venture. So, it comes back.
It
Uh,
does, it does, and I think somewhere all the hard work, all the sweat, blood,
yeah,
stress, mental investment that entrepreneurs have to do often, uh,
exactly.
sometimes does get back, and I think it doesn't happen quite a lot. By the way, it only happens to
Yeah,
a few
no,
really successful people, and I think that talks very high about who you are as an
yeah.
entrepreneur as well, Nimesh. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You were involved with the first ever KPO of India, isn't it? Did I hear that
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, in insurance KPO.
In
Somebody
insurance,
else parallelly started in accounting and banking, but I started in insurance KPO.
insurance,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how was that experience? And because today I hear Bangladesh, Sri Lanka,
yeah.
Mexico,
Everybody is
all
trying.
competing in this space, and
Oh yeah,
perhaps
yeah.
somebody like a country like a Mexico even falls within the same time zone of the US. Uh,
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah.
uh, how was the experience when you started, and how's the market today? You think?
Yeah, when I started, it was easy and hard. Of course, it was easy because you could find talent. There was nowhere else for them to go. So finding talent was hard, easy. What was hard was they didn't know anything about U.S. insurance market. You had to teach them a lot. Of course, fast forward today, it's easy to find talent, but it's easy to lose the talent as well.
Right.
So, Bangalore, reason some of the companies are looking out sometimes I feel is the attrition and the salary inflation in India, And sorry, one sec. Let me just take a sip. So, but I think what India has done is it's established a certain critical mass of competency in insurance, banking, accounting, healthcare, etc. So it is safe in a way, okay, but it is safe only as long as the cost factor is there, right? If we lose that, we will have a problem.
Right.
We'll have a
Right.
problem. Yeah,
Right. So I was asking you. So my story is also very similar. I'm an engineer by profession,
yeah, yeah. Okay,
but I only worked for one banking captive BPO.
okay.
Worked for 9 years, one of the largest banks. And today, when you talk about attrition, right? Today,
Yeah.
I think employees have more choice than employers have.
Oh yeah,
In
absolutely.
terms of saying
Okay.
they are selecting us as much as we are selecting them, right?
Agreed. Agreed.
So, and once you do, and if you do find people, how are you keeping them
Yeah.
with you? What are you doing? What's your leadership style with Eton right now?
So what I've seen is, basically in India, the salary aspiration is very high. One second, Vikram, ye bhi khol do. Yeah, the salary aspiration is very high,
Right,
which is there's nothing wrong with that, Tej. I don't believe, just desiring a higher salary is bad. But what one has to realize is you have to have higher competency each year, right?
Absolutely.
If your
Absolutely.
competency is scaling at the speed at which your comp is scaling, which is fine because you can do higher paying work, right? So what I'm doing at Eton is exactly that. So we are asking all our youngsters to go through courses from the CFA Institute in US. There's another one, CIPM. So these are all very important global certifications, or US based, but global, that recognizes their expertise and
Right.
gives them certain knowledge to provide higher level tasks, right? So that's what I'm doing, is continuously encouraging them to scale up and being very honest with them, saying, if you are not scaling up, don't expect your comp to scale up a lot.
Right.
You know, just being very honest with them.
So so if you were not around at Eton office today, and if I were to go and
Yeah,
ask some of your direct reports, right?
yeah.
What kind of a leader are you for them? What will I hear from them, Nimesh?
They'll say I'm approachable. They'll say I'm fun, um, and sometimes sarcastic. You know, so if I get, we have a culture we maintain. We don't use any bad language. There's no rough, etc. We just, so when I'm unhappy, I become a bit sarcastic. So, sometimes some people say, they call me Sarko Singh, that, that, if if I'm unhappy, I'm just going to make a sarcastic comment. But otherwise, fun and approachable. Because, I mean, if they can't approach me, I can't help them.
Right. Right.
And I work mostly with the bottom third of the pyramid, right? The people that report to me don't need my help. They're very smart people. And so the people that need encouragement or some vision of where they could go in life are the people at the bottom third of the
Right.
pyramid. And most of the load is carried there anyway, So I like to connect with them. And because the future diamonds and gold is in that bottom third, you know.
Right. So
Yeah,
for people, first of all, thank you for that honesty there. I've never
yeah,
heard this term Sarko Singh before. I'm not
yeah,
going to probably tell my team because they call me sarcastic sometimes. So
yeah,
uh,
exactly.
so again, when I was reading your story, and you're somebody who's also very passionate about fitness as well, isn't it?
It
Uh,
is. I mean, yeah, to the extent time permits. Yeah,
and
I do.
today
I
I
do stay
see
fit.
most startup entrepreneurs, they don't take care
Yeah,
of themselves because they're thinking, I'm investing my everything into the business. So they either not,
yeah,
careful about their food habits, or they get into habits that they don't want because of the stress,
yeah.
right? What is
Correct.
your message to
Correct.
them? And when did this entire fitness thing happen to you? Was it always
Uh,
there, or was it a
Always. It
realization?
was always there. No, I was always into sports and stuff. It just continued, into my life. And I think the message to the youngsters is your stress is building up at an enormous pace, right? And you
Right.
can't see it, you don't feel it because you think you had a beer and you're fine. No, you're not fine. Um, so I would strongly recommend everyone to stay fit, because when you do a workout or anything, it's de-stressing,
Right.
right? And if you don't de-stress, you will take your wealth and spend it on a healthcare facility very
Right.
soon.
Right.
So yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. So where does India
yeah,
go from here, Nimish? Because post-COVID, there's a lot
yeah.
of, I don't know how much of this is true, but there's a lot of talk about job losses under the carpet,
Yeah.
not coming out in the
Hmm.
media. And
Yeah.
I heard you say at the start of the interview that you're hiring, and that's why you're
We're
here.
hiring. Yeah, we're hiring. We're continuously
So
hiring.
I am confused. So where does India go from here post-COVID? Should people be worried about jobs in India?
No, I don't think they should be worried. Should you be open to change a bit? Yeah, you should be open to change a bit. So as long as you're open to change, yeah, there is somebody hiring. In any market, human activity is not ended, it's just changed.
Right.
So human activity reduced in one area, increased in one area. So you just have to figure out where is it increased, go there. It's
Right.
as simple as that.
Right.
They
So
have
how does,
humans. Yeah,
I hear most leaders, and I think I am also guilty of saying this quite a lot.
yeah,
People keep saying embracing change. Change is constant. We have a lot of cliches in the
yeah,
market. Right?
yeah, yeah,
Let's assume that I'm an employee. I have a huge anxiety around my head that I may lose my job, right?
correct.
Which means
Hmm.
that's a huge change for me in my life, right? If you
Agree.
consider that as that as a case, right? how should this
Mhm.
one employee embrace change? Can you give some tips to our audience?
Uh, Most of the time I've seen if an employee has fear of that sort, it usually means for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, they haven't learned anything new. You know, if you're constantly learning new, there's nothing to fear. And that's the only way I could see, constantly, look for things to learn. I mean, even at Eton Solution is completely different from what I did earlier. So take a book and read.
Build your
So that's my only
skills.
suggestion.
Yeah,
Build your skills. As simple as that. You're in knowledge economy. Knowledge is not static.
absolutely.
No.
In
Yeah.
fact, I keep at a very basic level, I keep telling whenever I coach or mentor leaders across. So
Yeah.
I do a lot of leadership consulting across 37 countries for senior
Okay.
managers.
Wow. Very
And
good.
one of the things I ask them is, if you're anxious about losing your job, when was the
Yeah.
last time you updated your CV?
Exactly.
Right?
That's
They wouldn't
that's
even have
also.
touched it for like a year or
Mm.
so, or more than
Oh,
that.
sure. More than
And you're
that.
worrying. So once you go see what the market is, then
Yeah.
and validate to your skill, where is the market
Yeah.
at? Right.
Correct.
So I really love the way
Absolutely.
you brutally said, you know what, you haven't learned and hence you're worried. And I think
Yeah.
as harsh as it may sound, I think
Yeah.
somewhere that is the
That's the
reality.
reality.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nimesh. I think I wish I could go on more talking to you. I think
No, this is
there's a
good.
lot
No.
of synergy with what you say
Yeah.
to how I believe
Yeah.
leaders should be, and
Hmm.
I'm seeing glimpses of that in you as well. So thank you for that.
Okay.
My
Very
last
good.
question
Thank
to
you.
you is
Hmm.
more again. I go back to the book. Your story has been reported in Dhoop, Dhool, Dhoop, and Dhakka.
Yeah.
If you were to go with, and so the way I understood that book is, it is about going down, getting your hands dirty, the perseverance and the hustling that are required for an entrepreneur.
Right. Yes.
If you were to give three messages in accordance to these three words
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
young startup entrepreneurs or people who are working and want to become startup entrepreneurs, three
Correct.
messages for you that can help them start up better. Three tips.
Yeah. The first message is you can't go on this journey alone. Find people that will be a good team with you. Right. That's your first thing. That'll share the load and share the benefit as well, right? So first message is learn to form a team. Second message is find a problem you really believe you can solve, or you know it exists and you can solve, right? Because without you solving a problem, there is no business, right? And third, make it fun as much as you can, because it'll allow you to deal with the shit that's going to come at you all the time. You know?
Right.
Yeah,
Wow. Thank you, Nimish. Thank you so
yeah.
much. I wish you all the
Very good.
good luck. I know you're going back to
Thank
the
you.
US, so please travel safe.
Will do.
And I
Will do.
wish
Thank you.
Ethan the best of success. May you go ahead and
Thank you.
hire many more people
Okay.
in the
Certainly.
coming
Thank
few
you.
years. Thank you for your
Thank you.
time today. I
Thank you.
thoroughly enjoyed talking to you as well. Thank you.
And thank you to you, and best wishes to you and all the whoever is going to listen to us.
Thank
The
you.
good luck. No, thank you.